But this has been like the long tease, or I guess since Monday, the Goryo's Basim deck. I think that this has a real chance to be the best build of the archetype, and I've been liking it a lot so far. I'm a little unsure on some numbers. Like, I almost wanted to do a 3-3 Thoughtseize Spell Pierce split, because Pierce is just like castable off Mox Amber. But Thoughtseize is also like an extra Emrakul enabler, and it's like actually a pretty good one, because you can go like turn 1 Tamiyo, turn 2 Thoughtseize, your Emrakul Goryos it. So I don't know, but again, so Tamiyo, Basim, Mox Amber, Mishra's Bauble. This is like a pretty nice card advantage engine, very low to the ground. It lets you use Mox Amber as like a real Moxin, which is awesome. You can play Imri plus Ring. You can play Tassiger as your other cheap legend, and no Ring, which was something we did on Monday, was okay. But here we're playing Rona as our third legend for Mox Amber. Very good with Mox Amber, and all the legends in the deck do a lot of untapping, and I think it makes sense to try to play Psychic Frog and Rona in the deck as like good cards that can also discard Emrakul, and the combination of all the card advantage with Rona, Basim, Tamiyo, Psychic Frog, all this card advantage and looting with Rona lets you dig for your Goryo's combo. And one thing I also really like about this deck is just like how, like, kind of, you know, not to dunk on my good friend Doom, but you know, Doom's like blue black victimized list is really all in on the graveyard, and Doom does have some Thoughtseizes, it does have some flares to beat graveyard hate, but if graveyard hate sticks, that deck is gonna have a really hard time. But this deck being able to like loot away stuff, be able to flip Rona into a big creature, have Basim and Psychic Frog and Tamiyo, it just is going to make you way more resilient to graveyard hate, which is like really nice. So I'm very excited about this one. Again, there's a few small card choices I'm a little unsure on at the moment, but I've been very excited to play this on stream. All right, Gab, thanks for the raid. We just finished a league with Domain Zoo with a bunch of MH3 cards, which is pretty good. And here we're playing Basim Goryos with Frog and Rona as our like looters for Goryos. So we're gonna bauble ourselves. You cannot draw your whole deck with Basim. Basim only triggers once a turn, although I will certainly keep this Basim on top. Did I get a new camera? Yeah, I did get. Well, I bought this camera for the paper testing with Dingo, and I've been using it for D&D. But I got some new like background art that I wanted to showcase, and then when I was setting it up yesterday, it was like, you can't really see this, so I ended up putting this camera here. Okay, graveyard of second Goryos. Okay, so we get to go Basim, draw a card with Fatal Push Up. If I draw Tamiyo, I don't think I'm casting it, so I could trigger Basim next turn. I'm going to save the Bauble for the same reason. So I'm also getting the Mox up to date. You failed to mention Shrieking Drake, which gives you blue, draw a card. Oh, that is pretty cool. I did fail to mention it. I didn't realize. Could be good. Could be a Primal Purse thing. They changed the camera angle so you could make a second white spike. It's the same angle, just a higher quality camera. Gonna might my. Okay, they are gonna might my Amber. That's okay. This one came with the card attached to it. We'll take that. All right, so we'll go Bauble, draw a card. Look at our top card to see if we want to fetch or not. Okay, certainly gonna fetch that away. Seize him. Well, I'm not gonna take the Trader and let them get a 1-mana War and Soul Trader. So we'll just play our Frog here. I'd love to find an Emrakul soon. Draw a card up the Bauble. Another Frog. To get some new lighting. The lighting is the... Oh, actually, I opened the window today. And then turned off my like light here. So natural light today, I guess. Oh, I'm blocking. Might discard the second Frog. I could just discard the Grave. So I could cycle the Basim here if I wanted to. I think I like that because that allows me to get this Basim in, get it up to 4/4. And I'm okay if they block the frog, of course. So I could save this Tamiyo to trigger Basim next turn, which seems fine. Yeah, I also get to push the Soul Trader, which is not exactly the best, since they have the Unearth. So it might have been better to save it for Apprentice, but they just have Unearth anyways. It's not really going to do anything. So if they have an Apprentice, if they've drawn one, we lose. Otherwise, we're likely going to be able to pressure them enough. Well, can I kill them so this is 4, so they're at 6? I guess I can't kill them with the frog, unfortunately. I can flip to Tamiyo, though, after drawing a card off the frog, which is nice. Okay, so let's go, give this flying. And I'll discard the Thoughtseize, and then... Oh, wait, sorry. How did I all of a sudden have lethal? I don't know what happened. I counted and it wasn't lethal, and I looked back and it was lethal. I was 2 off. Yeah, it is. I guess I just off, but for some reason I thought I was too short, and then I'm transported to this reality where I just have lethal here. So obviously nice to just like win that game really smoothly without finding Emrakul, just having a dead Goryos in our hand the whole time. I'm gonna bring in these Nihil Spellbombs. I'm gonna cut the Spell Pierces. I'm gonna bring in the extra Fatal Push. I'm gonna bring in the Deluges, and I think go down on Thoughtseize. It's like 2 copies. Anything else? Can probably a lot of times I want to cut an Amber when I bring in Nihil Spellbomb because we're going up on historic permanents. They shocked. I guess and that was actually must have been what I was miscounting. Yeah, Frog is really good. We technically have Goryo's Tamiyo scam. Yeah, that is something you can Goryo's Tamiyo, flip it and keep it. I think if you flip Rona, you get to keep it too, right? It exiles when you transform. Not sure. I am gonna be right back though. Alright. Will you brew this list minus the Goryo's Emrakul package, please? That's a very interesting question to ask, because we have played a lot of builds of Basim Tamiyo without the Goryo's Emrakul package. We have Imri plus Ring. We have a build that's playing... maybe just pull up the 3 different builds. So there's this build. There's this build. There is a no ring build that I think this is probably the worst of all of them. But this build is playing Frog and playing Tamiyo. I really wanted to play Frog in this shell, but I think this build is not as good as the ring build of Basim that's playing Imri, Ring, and some Saga targets like main deck Nihil Spellbomb, main deck Haywire might. But I think there's a good chance this Goryo's build is the best of all of them. The curve is really low. I'm really liking this one so far. Okay, let's keep that Rona. All right, easy choice. So I've pre-brewed 2 other builds for you. Top 8 at a challenge with the ring build. I put you on Earth. Wow, so my Rona's not gonna. I'm not gonna get on top with this Rona anymore. At least the Basim comes with a cantrip here. Do you think these builds are better than the simple blue-black tempo control with Murktide? So to some extent, basically all of them are more synergy-based, and so they can be picked apart a little bit easier. But Basim is really crazy. This Basim is super, super good. And Mox Amber has become a really good card in these shells too, and you kind of can do some broken things with Mox Amber, which is something I really like about this archetype or these archetypes. And it's kind of maybe like a classic, higher ceiling, lower floor. But I do think these decks are very good. I love Basim. Basim is super nice, and one thing I like about this build compared to some of the other ones we're just talking about is okay, awesome draw. Basim is so good. But compared to some of the other builds, or the ring builds, the ring build can't really play Frog. You're basically playing Ring over Frog, and I love that. I love this build, and the one we played the other day gets to play lower mana curve. No Surveil land? Maybe after the Mire. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I thought Thoughtseize turn 1 Gris are put on top deck on Earth. But thankfully we were lucky enough to draw a couple Basims. Basim is like, it's just like 2 mana, draw a card. So it's like, even if your opponent kills it, you get a nice 2-for-1. And the card also just draws a card every turn after that, usually, and also gets really big and kills your opponent. It just does everything. In addition to like, oh, you get to play a Mox Jet down Sapphire in your deck. So what did they do with that? They left a card on top. That was probably the card. Is Basim the new Beanstalk? I mean, it triggers on pretty different things, but it's very comparable to Beanstalk. So Basim down. So we're looking for a Goryos. Although Goryos, maybe this will be too painful. Wait, why would they? Oh, they have another Gravecrawler in the yard. Yeah, Goryo's Emrakul may not be enough here with that Blood Artist. Just gonna keep my life total as high as I can, I guess. Is this deck nearly as busted as Beanstalk was? I mean, I don't know that there's any, or there are very few decks that were as busted as Beanstalk was. So if I draw Fatal Push, I can go push the Blood Artist, Legend Rule Rona to untap Rona, block here. It's like not great, but seems like the line, and hope that they draw nothing. I guess looting end of turn doesn't do anything. Oh, I forgot about this. Damage 2. So I should have main phased the push. What was the worst period of Modern, in my humble opinion? Beanstalk Modern was pretty bad. Like, Bean Scam was pretty bad. Urza Oko Tamiyo. I guess I can... nothing is dying here, so I don't need to push yet. Sorry, not Tamiyo. Urza, Oko, Emery, Mox Opal, Astrolabe, Once Upon a Time, Mystic Sanctuary. That deck was like one of the best ever. Okay, so I guess I'll loot end of turn, and if I draw Goryos, I can discard the Emrakul. And if I don't, I can just push. Okay. Yeah, Cascade Valky was just like 1 week, but it was the best deck in Modern's history. Yeah, Eldrazi Winter was bad for sure. Interesting. So I can go cast Tamiyo, untap Rona, tapped Rona again, flip to Tamiyo, +1. And then if I Fatal Push the Supplier, then I take 1 down to 2, and I guess I'm alive. So I guess I'm discarding my Emrakul. And before draw Goryos off this, I guess. Okay, so Philadelphia plus... And then I think we just push the... Oh, sorry, I've miscounted. Yeah, I have to push the Gravecrawler. We probably can't beat the Wicked Roll token. Don't know if we had a line. Obviously, that top deck on Earth was brutal. Astrolabe Snow Urza was terrible. Yeah, to me, like, that was the only deck that ever made me really quit Modern. Because, like, right before we had Hogak Faithless Looting, which was also awful, but, like, kind of like Nadu now, people just didn't play it in leagues. Like people just wouldn't play that deck in leagues, so you didn't have to worry about it so much. Um, um, but people did love to play the Urza deck in leagues, and unlike Hogak, where you would just have 4 ley lines in your sideboard, right? And you would always like you would just beat Hogak sometimes, and the matches were kind of like low stress. You just could not. It was so hard to beat the Urza deck. I just failed so hard to like find lists that could beat it that I stopped playing. Okay, go to game 3. Mox paid for the sins of Astrolabe, just like looting paid for Hogak. Looting paid for Hogak. I think I disagree with both of these sentiments. It is something people like to say for sure. But like, looting was the best card in Modern when it was banned. Maybe you could argue Hogak was better, but like Hogak was very good, largely in part to looting existing, and looting was also like huge for Phoenix. Marty Pyromancer was a real deck. Hollow One was like really crazy. Dredge was really crazy. Looting, like, and also the thing about looting too was there was like a long period of time, like probably 2 years after looting was banned, like maybe probably even up to Modern Horizons 3. I think this is no longer true post Modern Horizons 3, but pre Modern Horizons 3, I think at any given time you could have unbanned looting, and looting would have been the best card in Modern again. I think if you had unbanned like any point in time after looting was banned until MH3, I guess maybe Valky would have been better. I guess when before Oko was banned, that wasn't true. Oko was better than looting. But it's looting is just so crazy. It is just too efficient at what it does. And yeah, I guess Oko is better than looting. I think Uro is. I guess pre companion nerf Luris is better than looting. So yeah, maybe a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, that's how I feel. So I don't know. And then Mox Opal is also, I think, very good that card's gone too. So deck tech for Golgari 6. So this is very similar to a list we played previously. But I don't think I was playing the Priest of the Forgotten Gods. I don't think I would recommend Priest over a Cursed Marauder in a deck that is trying to... In a deck that's trying to use Nightmare. You want to play ETB effects instead of activated abilities. Marauder is also really good with Grist. Alright, with all these Basims, we'll play Basim, I guess. Yeah, well, looting is just so fucked up. Like, to say it paid for Hogak Sins is... Like, it really needed to be banned, like... I think I was advocating for a looting ban a full year before it got banned. It was just like so clearly the best card in Modern for such a long time. Yeah, if you could only play Mox Opal in like traditional Affinity, it would be pretty fine, but that's mostly because that's just not a good archetype. 4-6 I think is too many. I'd play no more than 3. Yeah, probably 3. Yeah, I think it would be minus. I don't know. I mean, just to some extent, I would just play the mono. I would play the mono black list I play. But if you want to play green, then like 6 plus Fulminator Mage seems really nice. Maybe we go -1/6, -3 Priest, +3 Fulminator Mage, +1 Accursed Marauder is probably how I would build the main deck. And then I also do really like White of the Reliquary. I think that card is really good, but okay, I would play 0 Dakmor Salvage. Like 6 is just so good in these decks. You don't need to play cards to make 6 better, if that makes sense. 6 is just like already pretty good by itself. Ooh. Well, that was a gross turn. Mox Opal never should have been banned. Small brain decisions. I was against its ban previously, but it is certainly for the best that it is banned at the moment, I think. They surgical my last Basim. Yeah, I did not know about the Shrieking Drake Port Mage stuff. I think it is kind of interesting. Although the problem is Shrieking Drake is just like doesn't do anything without Port Mage, maybe. So you have to like probably play like a Primal Prayers deck, and those decks aren't great. But yeah, it could be something. Bronze draws have been great. Yeah, you can't have Mox Opal and Urza Saga, and I know most people would just rather ban or not have Urza Saga, but it is good that they are not coexisting at the very least. That Surgical so suspect? No, it wasn't. My opponent griefed me this game. You can play Ranger Cap to 1/2 Shrieking Drake. Yeah. I agree that it's an option. It is something I overlooked. I guess I'm gonna play this land actually, because if I just draw a land, I'm just gonna flip the Rona. Yeah, one card in their hand, but they also have this Spy Master's Vault for a lot of connives. Rawfall, turn 3, 1 extra mana, 2 broken. Are you just talking about Mox Opal, turn 3, 1 extra mana? Mox Opal's insane with Urza Saga is one thing, but that's also the thing is it's just so disingenuous. go back to Reddit, please. No patience for like the really disingenuous, like super sarcastic, toxic gamer attitude. I don't know. It's like every Saga deck gets to play Mox Amber super duper, Mox Opal super effectively. It'd be very, very potent. I understand we've all had cards we liked banned. I've been there, but I just am so tired of the really disingenuous framing of and like the lobbying for like what you want changed about Modern. It's just so silly. Toxic Deluge would be interesting. I just do it on one here. Kind of unlock everything. Obviously, Goryo's would be a sick draw. The Bowmasters is pretty good. I'm at 13 life points. Alright, so we'll trigger the Bowmaster here. And I might just flip the Rona. Looting away extra Emrakul would be nice. I think I'm still flipping Rona. Only I could deal with damage to my own Rona here. So this is 8 damage, putting them down to 6. But of course they have this Blood Artist for a lot. The Tamiyo back on defense. See if we can survive. Urza Saga doesn't see much play anymore. I guess it's just so annoying. I don't know. I agree Wrath of Skies would help contain it, but to say Urza Saga would see a lot more play with Mox Opal, it would have been a really long problem for years. Like the 2 years Urza Saga is legal before MH3, to have Opal and Saga together would have needed a ban at some point in this period for sure. I understand you're an Affinity player and you miss Mox Opal. I'm a Twin player. I miss Splinter Twin. Everyone is like this, but the framing and the most disingenuous like turn 3 1 extra mana 2 broken. You want Mox Opal unbanned because it is broken. That's why you want it unbanned. That's the only reason why Affinity was like a playable deck in the past, was Mox Opal's like powerful mana starts. I get it. But the pushiness, I don't know, maybe I'm taking it out on you too much, but there's just too much of this in the Magic community. And now we're exactly dead here, I think. This is 6 + 3. It's like 1, 2, 3. They can also connived for a little bit extra damage. I'm gonna pack it in here. Oh, they also boarded an extra paid. Alright, go to match 2. Keeping this one. Putting it in the tank over a Tamiyo here. It's kind of interesting what you're supposed to lead on here. I think because we have 2 Basims, I'm going to do this again. It's kind of, we have to untap with both. What's up?
I have time to go to the doctor at 3 o'clock before a dentist appointment for my cough.
Yeah, we could just take separate cars.
Yeah.
The appointment's at 4, right?
15, 4:15.
Okay, so we definitely don't have time to take the same car. I have 4 Thoughtseize in the deck, and I would really like to draw one, so I think I'm gonna tap like this.
I could also do it after the.
It's up to you. I think it's up to you. All right, this is kind of nice because this now I just have another historic permanent for next turn. Just gonna get to play a frog here. Even if they push my Basim, I can go Basim Rona, draw another card next turn, although the frog is also probably giving them some grief here. We don't have any main deck deluges. Sometimes these lists do main deck deluge. It's on a multi-4. Sorry, no, 4 cards in hand, not multi-4. So we're up against Murktide, so don't need to worry about deluge. 8/8 Murktide, obviously pretty scary though. A Goryo's would be a nice top deck here. Fatal Push is not the most helpful. Ring was a bad card design. Who tested it? Bruce, I know that you're trying to troll me. I know you're trying to get me more upset. I didn't test the ring. The ring was not in the card file when I consulted on Lord of the Rings. Or there was a card called the One Ring. It was 5 mana. It didn't draw cards. It was very different. But I know you're just trying to... I know you're just trying to troll. I know you're just trying to get another rise out of me. And this is not the place for it. This is your last warning. You'll be banned the next time you do something like this. With peace and love. All right. Draw off the Amber. So if I fetch down to 10 and pay 2 life to flip the Rona, I'm dead to the Murktide. Let's surveil, I guess. As I dig for Goryos with the Rona. Could also maybe jump the Frog, right? I might want to jump the Frog on defense now. Just the whole extra turn matters so much. Yeah, let's plan to jump this Frog on defense. Yeah, what's so sad about, like, that Bruce guys, they came in and they asked, can you brew this list without Goryos? And I spent probably 2 minutes like saying, hey, thank you for coming to the stream. Here's 2 lists for you. Here's the box field. And this just like devolves into into whatever this was. It's so upsetting. I spent I had the exact thought like, wow, I'm glad I took the time to do this for a new chatter. I don't know. It's just so funny. It is what it is, you know. 6, 7. Okay, so if this resolves, and I could just discard the Emrakul, we have Xaxes. Could jump both if you do it with Emrakul trigger stack, yeah. So I think the bandmaid were warranted. I don't think they knew consult Lord Rings. Maybe it seemed like that's what they're going for, but whatever. It is what it is. Just a little internet arguing, not a big deal. Okay, so I guess Spellbombs are kind of weird, but We're not super good at containing Murktide outside of Goryo's Vengeance, so spell bombs to make them stumble seems kind of nice. And I want less than 4 Thoughtseize. 2 or 3. Maybe this is too many Spell Pierces also, but like Spell Pierce with Mox Amber is just so good. Although maybe I should just trim a piece of each of the combo and just kind of plan to get this a little bit later. That could be okay also. Have I considered Soul Scaler in the side for Mono Green Tron? It doesn't stop your Chalice Fanatic. I assume you mean Mono Green Eldrazi, not Mono Green Tron. And yes, I think we have we not played. I'm pretty sure we've had like Soul Scaler in the sideboard sometimes. I definitely like that sideboard card a lot. I like that it's good against Living End, Goryos, and Storm. Do you find Break the Ice to be an effective sideboard card against Tron? I think it's probably the best sideboard card in Modern against Tron. I don't think there's a better one. I'm always in favor of time outside giving second chances. I am too. Yeah, it's fine. I bear Bruce no ill will. I hope we can come together one day. So my opponent doesn't have a push. I think I'm going to want to cast Rona so I can use my Surveil land this turn. I don't think I want a second frog. Tremol's a single that secures you pretty sick. Yeah, Tremol's really good. The big downside to Tremol, obviously, though, is if you're on the draw, you can't kill a Tron land before they have Tron, but it's obviously something. So they have a Bowmaster, and they can Bowmaster in my upkeep in response to the Bauble trigger, but then I could loot off the Rona before the Bowmaster resolves, and then I get to flip the Tamiyo. Yes, welcome back, Bruce. Sorry to also be an internet arguer. Okay, so Bowmaster pings me. I'm going to draw for turn, flip the Tamiyo. Alright, let's put this back on top. Although there's a pretty solid chance I'm just like flipping Rona and attacking next turn. This deck needs Brain Surge. Is that a serious suggestion? What is the what would the idea behind Brain Surge be? Yeah, just my opponent's just holding up a counterspell here probably. So if I go plus on Tamiyo, flip Rona, I just really get very ahead in the race and they're under a lot of pressure. I haven't really played much with Brain Surge yet. I know that some like Jeskai players are just like, yeah, let's put that in the deck. How significant is Slice on Arcane? It mostly is just flavor text. Doesn't really come up. Playing one Brain Surge Jeskai, love it. Yeah, I'm sure it's like super fun to cast. I had a Mox or Sapphire Medallion Brain Surge like taking turns list. But I do think that there might be something to Sapphire Medallion and Brain Surge in a deck. Snapcaster also is kind of nice. Crack the Bauble. Another counterspell on top, or presumably, you know, another. We don't actually know that they have a second. But should be pretty likely. Spell Pierce is nice. Okay, so let me just start off with second Rona. And then I would love for them to counterspell this, because they have 2 counterspells, and I can go second Frog, Spell Pierce, second counterspell. Although that's not something that happened. So let's not play the second Frog into counterspell that I can't Spell Pierce unless they do something else. Wouldn't the story ever be playable again? I hope so. I hope so. Huh. Just not subtleting the Rona. What was Kamigawa Limited like? Like original Kamigawa? I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Push, so I can just ultimate Tamiyo. I guess it's like a oh, they're conceding. I think they're conceding to my Tamiyo ultimate maybe, and not realizing they had Bowmaster. I'm not sure. That probably wasn't what happened because they didn't attack it, right? 1-1. It would have been good to have the appointment yesterday, but this is the thing about dentist appointments, right? You just like you make them like 6 months out, and you're not you don't know what your schedule is going to be like. So on the draw against Boros, Prowess, something. Probably Boros. Any thoughts I'm going to try out first tomorrow? Probably a Flare of Denial Control Shell. And then, but I also really would like to play Kitsa tomorrow. I think I'm just digging for a looter. Or a Thoughtseize, a Frog, or a Rona. So I'm going to shuffle away the Tamiyo. And then I guess I could Goryo's Tamiyo. Do you think an Astral Drift deck can be fast enough to get online in this format? No. I remember Fran used to build some Astral Drift brews back in the day, and those decks are always really, really cool, but they're certainly not very good, unfortunately. Well, I do like that I can protect this from burn spells. I'm gonna cast my Frog and hope for the best, and hope I can throw an Emrakul at my opponent next turn. Yeah, the Astral Run decks were so sick, Fran. If my opponent has like Bolt or 2 Galvanic Discharges and stuff, but if they have 1 of each, it's maybe okay. I guess not if they untap and do both. If you flip Tamiyo after Goryo's, yeah, you keep the Tamiyo if you flip Tamiyo after Goryo's. I'm not sure if you do with Rona, but this one exile the ones that like Jace exiles and comes back, Tamiyo exiles and comes back. I don't think Rona exiles and comes back. I think she just flips. So we just have to dodge a second Discharge or Static Prison. We beat Bolt, we beat Flage. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say anything. Okay, Guided Souls. Just our opponent's Amped Raptors lately they've been hidden pretty well. So if they don't attack, they die, but it's kind of hard for them to know that. Walkers need to flip less than have loyalty. It makes sense. I was always wondering why they like templated it differently. Well, line. Yeah, Frog is a pretty crazy card. When it says rude, sorry. I think I'm gonna trim 1 piece each of the combo again. I kind of liked that last time. And then I want the Nihil Spellbombs for their Flages. So something like this. I think I want the first Pierce, 3 Thoughtseize. Yeah, I love how like low this deck's curve is, how high the card quality is, how many sources of card advantage you have, how good your plan B is. Or I don't even. I mean, the Goryos might be the plan B. Kind of hard to say, I guess. Gonna keep this one. Deck's feeling good, Mal. So I'm gonna try to go Surveillant into basic swamps. So if my opponent has any Blood Moons, I guess they're Mardu. So maybe we don't need to worry so much about it. Or just still fetch a swamp, just in case. Some Mardu lists play Blood Moon. A lot of people bring in Blood Moon in weird spots. Why do you want Thoughtseize in the matchup? You can take Graveyard Hate. It's kind of the big thing. You can take removal spells. But being able to Thoughtseize a Hearse is kind of nice. Although maybe you should just play Spell Pierces. Fast Hams, 28. Thank you. Welcome back.
I was about to give you some water, but...
Yeah, I'm hydrated today. Thank you. Appreciate the thought. The Cannon Saga cookbook? No, do not. I'm very happy to not be playing Urza Saga, Asmo, cookbook, and decks right now. There hasn't been a lot of Jeskai in the leagues lately, but I'm just kind of off Asmo, and for the time being, those decks are just so bad against Wrath the Skies. Would the new Otter be better than Rona in this deck? Not in this deck, right? Because we're in Goryo's deck, we need the extra looter. The new Otter is really good, though, and I am really excited to play a Basim Otter deck. The fact that it's just another cheap blue legend for Mox Amber. And it's kind of just like the good one, or like the good. Maybe that's not the way to put it. It's the generically good one. That's the one you can put in your deck. That's the one you can put in your deck to just like, and you can put anything else. Like in this, if you play Rona, I think you need to play Goryo's. If you play Imri, I think you need to play Saga plus Ring. Yeah, but that one you could just kind of do whatever you want, which is nice. They do have a hearse. No attacks. Let's sit in with both here. Isn't Otter a looter? Oh, shoot. Otter is a looter. I don't know how I totally forgot that. No, Otter's better than Rona. Otter is a lot better than Rona. Alright, I'm going to actually discard at least one here. Probably just two. We're definitely backup planning at the moment. Interesting draw. How relevant is Rona's flipping ability? It's actually pretty relevant in games like this where like my opponent just has Hearse and we're a blue-black deck, right? So it's gonna be tough to Goryo's our opponents. The fact that this just flips into like a 5/5 trample relevant text, it does matter. Like we flipped it last match. And the match before, I think, too. Yeah, there are a lot of otters in the set, that is true. Alright, hopefully they play a Fable and not a Flage. Can copy Goryo's and tough spots. Yeah, you have some other spells, too. Bowmaster, Shielded Frog, Echo of Aeons deck. I don't think I've done it with Frog. I have done it in the past. You're definitely missing some. Oof. Okay, I mean, tough to race double Guide of Souls, I guess. I do have some Toxic Deluges in the deck. The time you're copying Goryo's, you play Mox Amber, another non-creature spell on Goryo's, while also having another 2 mana. Well, you can play Bauble instead of the other one. But yeah, I agree, it's like a late game thing. Certainly. Okay, Goryo's Vengeance, or we're going to game 3. Or sorry, Toxic Deluge, not Goryo's Vengeance. Start off with a loot, maybe. Then now I need to discard something and then jump the frog. I think that something is Spell Pierce. If I hit a Mox Amber, I guess I could have another. I could sack a clue to try to find a deluge, but I'm all in here. Brickadelphia. We do get to flip the Tamiyo. That's not gonna be enough for me. Let's just go to game 3. Maybe on the play we just want to be really it on Spell Pierces. It is just really good. Also, we can go like Tamiyo, Mox Amber, Spell Pierce, a turn 1 removal spell. It's just like so backbreaking. Kind of the same thing with Basim and Rona too. It also counters the hers. Tamiyo resets Rona. Tamiyo untaps Rona, and you have a draw. I see. Okay, so I guess we should have done that then for 1 extra look. We'll just graveyard that for now. No life for Deluge. I think we had enough life to cast it, but it was going. Life total was definitely going down. Go Frog, go. No subtlety in City 5. I know Deluge helps, but falling behind on board, not answering Bowmaster seems like a real problem. I mean, we have 4 Fatal Push, and we have Toxic Deluge for Bowmasters. Subtlety's like not a very good card against Bowmaster. Like, this is not the best plan against it. We're just like more of a Thoughtseize deck than anything else. I kind of don't understand this attack. This one I'd like discharge here, I guess. They should have done that after first strike damage. So I need to discard 3 to keep this. I could just let this go. Yeah, just let it go. Just take the 2 for 1. If they had like done this after first strike damage, oh, they didn't have damage to upset. I see. I would have grown it if they hadn't done it like this, but now I could just go Rona, Amber, second Frog. Amber first, I guess. So if they remove the Rona, we still get the mana off the Amber. You discard 4. Oh, right, they have the Aether Hub. Would I have discard 4 there? Maybe. Five cards in their hand. They Flage is kind of weird. If they Flage the Frog, I guess I should say it's kind of weird. Because one, I would want to discard both, but then I would discard the Spellbomb, which answers the Flage. So they start off, they just cast a Guide of Souls so far. Alright, so I was going to attack with Frog first to play around Bowmaster, but now I want them to Bowmaster in response to Rona. That I've drawn the Toxic Deluge. Kind of interesting what they target here, of course. I'm hoping that they target me. Is it right to splash for Gigantha? You can actually cast Gigantha if you have Flip Tamiyo, Mox Amber, and you can loot it away, discard it to Frog. But it gets turned... I don't know, it's probably pretty close. Probably okay to just be kind of over it. So they targeted me with the first Bowmaster trigger. Yeah, Gigantha, so you can loot Gigantha away, you can discard it to Frog. That might, unfortunately, be enough, right? Oh, whoops, mistapped here, but it's okay. And then I could discard the Nihil Spellbomb to get to draw a card off the Frog this turn, but I think Nihil Spellbomb being an answer to Flage is probably too important. I could have attacked, I guess, first. Maybe I guess I should have just attacked first, sorry. I was like, it's just so bad if they Bowmaster target my own stuff, but they didn't, so I should have. Alright, so we don't want them to block with a cat. Probably okay to crack the Spellbomb on our turn also, if we don't draw anything helpful. This will, make a Flage much worse in this spot, which is probably good enough. Okay, we can Surveil at the very least now, and pass back. If you attacked first, you wouldn't have killed their Arctomy. Oh, right, the Orc Army becomes a 3/3. Yeah, never mind, that was right then. Be a tough turn. Would love if they had a Fable here. Although I guess most of these lists are on Ob instead of Fable. Then they cast nothing, so they're really likely to have another Bowmaster, which is really bad. So maybe I'm flipping Rona again? Why not channel Emmy for 3 looks and Emmy plus Rona draw? Well, if we don't hit Emrakul, we lose, so maybe that's a little too risky. In the Rona draw, I'm playing around Bowmaster, which I thought they had. I'm kind of surprised they didn't do anything last turn. We lose anyways if they have actual anything. Maybe. I don't actually think that's true, but whatever. Take 4, then they make another token. I can attack the Johnny. Toxic Deluge on 1 is still an out. Also, just killing the Ocelot Pride means Emrakul is better for me because they will have less permanence. Yeah, maybe Channel Takenuma was better. Also, we didn't have mana though, right? Because it's 3 mana to Channel Takenuma. Oh, sorry, we did have exactly enough. This flips to Johnny. Yeah, but a Psychic Frog can kill a Johnny and draw a card. We'll have to draw like either relevant card, or something else. Maybe I also should have Spell Pierced the Static Prison, although looks like this ended up being better. So, I mean, drawing Emrakul. Okay, well. The Bowmaster Union phase, wouldn't that be 6 damage coming away? Maybe I just miscounted, but I didn't think it was. That works at least, yeah. Just attacking for 18. They're at 18. This is the GG. GG. Okay, so crack the bubble and their turn to maybe turn 2 flip Tamiyo. So if we drew Tamiyo there, instead of casting it, will be a Frog deck, Goryo's dead, then it's a track trigger, Frog would flip. Yeah, I mean, if that was enough to stabilize, then we should have. So, yeah, scamming Tamiyo is definitely a really real thing in this deck. Okay, my opponent's on a mull to 5. Mull to 5. Rin's Resolve. So we're up against Storm. Got 6 1-mana interactive spells in the main, plus a couple forces, Spell Pierce, Nihil Spellbombs, in addition to Emrakuls to throw at our opponent. But then they just plus the Ajani and we die. Yeah, maybe. We can also like draw stuff. Like we have enough mana to maybe draw something else. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is just play the Rona now. And then save the Mox Amber to untap Rona so I can have like 3 looks at Goryo's for next turn. Is Break the Ice for Eldrazi? Yeah, Eldrazi and Tron, which are very, very popular decks, all these different builds. And Break the Ice is like kind of the best card in the format against them, so being a deck that can just easily play 4 right now is pretty nice. Another part of the reason why I like Orzhov a lot. We flipped Tamiyo with Basim. If we were to draw Basim, we could have flipped Tamiyo. Okay, so next we get 3 looks. I guess we get 4 looks because we can play the Sewer first at a Thoughtseize, Spell Pierce, Goryo's Vengeance. Pretty likely to find one of those, right? I guess there's only 10 of them in the deck. We also have some other cards that let us see more. GG standalone. Misclick turn 2, Blaster Frog, Restrict Damage Strike. Yeah, I realized. I do wonder what the game would have been like, because I think I would have discarded my whole hand just to, like... Yeah, I think I would have discarded my whole hand. So we're going to flip the Tamiyo here. Discard an Emrakul. And we'll float a blue Amber again. Let's look at our top card. There it is. We can't get it. Well, we can get it with the clue, but we can't discard the Emrakul. Wouldn't have been better to wait on cracking the clue for Goryo's this turn. Well, I think I should have cracked it sooner for Goryo's this turn. Spell Pierce. Well, opponents on did mold to 5. We'll see if they can kill me. Metamorphose, Pass in Flame, Strike it Rich. Gonna be tough to not be dead now. Is there any merit to flip Jace instead of Rona? I think Rona's a lot better in this deck than Jace. You could do a split if you wanted to, like 3-1 in favor of Rona. So they have a Glimpse, a Reckless Impulse, and a Metamorphose, and also another Rinse Resolve. It just seems they'd have to have like 8 lands on top or something. 2 more Reckless Impulse. Let's go ahead and pack it in. Never really seen them brick after like that point in the game. So I'm going to bring in the Spell Bombs. I'm going to bring in the extra Spell Pierces and the Force of Negation. Force of Negations. Not going to bring in the Narset, although it is good against Metamorphose. I'm going to cut an Amber. I'm going to cut a Fatal Push. And maybe I'll trim a Basim. I break from there personally. Wow. I think it's good to concede there for like for y'all's sake. Maybe I'll cut the pushes altogether. If they have Ral, it's okay. Like push isn't even like necessarily all that good against Ral because they can flip it in response sometimes. And then because we don't really have lock pieces to bring in, we don't need to bring in Consign. Consign is nice to like protect your lock pieces from Static Prison and also counter Ruby, of course. Trim Tamiyo. Tamiyo being 1 mana is just so good in this matchup, but maybe. Okay, so we're on 6. My opponent's also to mold to 6. This hand is probably just like a little too slow to keep against Goryo's. Okay, like this one. So I think I want to put back a Takenuma and a Tamiyo so I can go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Frog, and then as soon as I draw Goryo's I can kill them. Not a 0% chance they have Blood Moon in their deck. Pretty low chance, but also our mana is just going to be fine if we have Swamp Island here. Our life total is not very relevant, but it isn't irrelevant either. I just take the Abrade. Their hand's not great. I don't love having to take the Abrade though. Would y'all have kept this 6? I think the mold to 5 worked out. Keeping the 6 seems like it could have been pretty reasonable. If my opponent like bolts or Abrades, which it doesn't seem very likely, I will discard both these to the Frog. Past in Flames in the yard, value. Plays the Elegant Parlor. Hand is Desperate Ritual, Metamorphose, Glimpse, 2 mystery cards. Goryo's off the top is an easy win, otherwise we have a good amount of counter spells we can draw, some more Thoughtseizes. It's pretty likely we have at least another turn. They Graveyard Shadow Skull Smashing after thinking about it for a bit. So we draw land off the Frog, we can go Basim Tamiyo, flip Tamiyo. Oh, not that land. Yeah, I guess I'll just play Basim. Desperate Ritual, Glimpse. 4 unknown cards in hand. You get to draw a card every turn. Isn't that crazy? Whose idea was that? Got to play Tamiyo before Frog hit to flip. Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. They glimpse into a Ral and a Glimpse. So if they don't have a land for next turn, they can't do all that much. So I guess we'll try to flip. We'll try to flip the Frog. Also, of course, we could just draw Goryo's, right? Definitely right to play this Tamiyo pre-combat. Alright, no permanents left for our opponent, no life points left for our opponent. Go into game 3. So mull to 5. Yeah, I think this deck's gonna be pretty good. I like it a lot. Tomorrow is gonna be weird. Tomorrow's gonna be weird. Because there's a challenge in the morning I usually like to play, but tomorrow's also the Bloomborough Early Access Streamer event. And so I want to do both, and I want to do a longer stream tomorrow, but I'm just not sure exactly what that's gonna look like. It probably looks like going live 1 hour later than usual, starting with the challenge, playing this deck probably, maybe Mono Black Nightmare. I like that deck a lot too. We're on the draw with 2 Spell Pierces against Storm and a Surveil land, and 1, 2, 3, 4 looks at land number 2. The problem is like land number 2 is a bit awkward because we can't play a threat and hold up the Pierce. I'm gonna mulligan actually. Okay, this hand's a lot better, I think, just because it can Goryo's turn 3. We need a land. So yeah, I think we'll probably go challenge, and if we make a late run in the challenge, then we'll probably end up focusing more on that than focusing on the early access event, and then or just early access in between rounds of the challenge if we make a deep run. Otherwise, just pivot into the early access event. Is Consign not good in this matchup? It hits Ruby, Rao, Grapeshot, Storm. Stopping Grapeshot is basically completely irrelevant. Stopping Ruby is nice, but you have to have it up for Ruby right in time, or it does not much. Stopping Rao flip is really irrelevant. It's just very easy for them to just flip it again. You also, I think you have to counter just the individual flip trigger, which is not very good. Oh, getting turn 2'd. Won the flip. But it's okay, but I don't think we have room for it. It's like we have a lot of other really good tools here. So a ritual, and they immediately cast this ritual. Won the flip. They need to cast 2 more instants or sorceries to ultimate the Ral immediately, but even just not doing that is maybe fine because they're pretty close to getting us here. Lost this flip, and they kind of bricked hard. Land, Ruby, Ral, 2 cards in hand. Do they have anything else? They have a Rin's Resolve, and they lost the flip, thankfully. That was a big flip for us to win. Although we're certainly not in very good shape. They have a Reckless Impulse. We will give them... We'll unfortunately give them a turn. Oh, wait. Why did I think I had... This whole time I've been thinking I had Emrakul in my hand. I guess I play Rona to see the most cards next turn. Also flip Tamiyo a bit easier. Wait. Cast Ruby before casting Impulse? Oh, because they have a Glimpse and as their 1 card for turn. Or maybe they had it last turn, couldn't cast it. They hit a Wish, they hit a Ritual. That should be good. That's good enough. Alright, 2-2. Let's finish the league up. Very close hand here. I'm going to go to 6, I think. That hand's just a little bit too likely to not function. When do I join a 64-man event? So you have to have a token, and the events are live. This is also going on for 8 weeks, and there's going to be more opportunities to get tokens. Not this weekend, but next weekend. But very kind of a confusing, convoluted structure, but a very cool event, and it's cool that they're putting it on. Am I going to stream the cube? It just depends on how I'm feeling tonight, but I'm going to try to. Because I have a dense disappointment. I might just feel kind of crappy, and so we'll see. How are the cards undrafted? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but if you clarify, I'll try to answer. The actual vintage cube sounds like it'd be sort of lame. People just rare draft. Well, I think there's a really interesting dynamic of rare drafting and then playing to win, because the prize is the rest of the cube. And so like you probably like if you're like seriously gonna prep for this event, you need to figure out like how you'll draft in what position. Like obviously if you get to go first, you get to take your Black Lotus and you're famous forever and it's awesome. But if you go second, like you have to weigh like how expensive is a Time Walk versus an Ancestral Recall versus like, oh, they're playing our Rumble list. Oh, this deck is so good. I'm kind of scared of the I'm kind of scared right now though. I've been wanting to play like another league of this on stream. Definitely liked it. I guess we'll just attack first. Yeah, I believe it's Rochester draft, Rochester style. What do they put into their hand? Another Nethergoyf, I see. Kind of interesting they put the Woodland into their hand with the Archon. Kind of scary. So I guess I'm just going to push the Nethergoyf with the hopes to be able to spell pierce the Persist that's very likely to come down. Although they could also just have a another Woodland. They also can't have an untapped land, or maybe they won't play around it. I guess we'll just cut that clue in a turn if they don't have that. This is Rochester draft. You know how much power is left in the undrafted cube, incentivizing trying to win. Yeah, exactly. I think there's just going to be a very interesting dynamic. All right, cooked. I like this. I like this list. I think they're playing the build we made. I like it's playing Fnatic of Ronas to like both activate Woodland, Hardcast Archon. Very cool build. So I'm going to bring in the Spell Bombs. I'm going to bring in the Fatal Push. I think I'm bringing in the extra Spell Pierce. I definitely want to keep in all of my combo pieces. I think I can cut an Amber. Maybe we just trim here. I want to keep Rona for the looting. Although maybe Frog for looting is more important. I guess Thoughtseizes can be kind of bad. Couldn't you still have your own Goryos? Sorry, you're right. We should have. That was an early concession. Maybe the Thoughtseizes are kind of bad because like they're a shifting Woodland deck. So maybe we should just be on like Spell Pierce, Force of Negation for Persist, and then hope that we can just also combo, be mulligan kind of aggressively to the combo. Okay, definitely like having a Nihil Spellbomb. Soaring is going to be drafted artificial low because it's so cheap. Yeah, it'll be an interesting dynamic of like trying to win versus trying to draft. Also, like to some extent, that might just be like almost completely a rare draft thing though, because it's like people are going to pick all of the power and then all of the dual lands in the draft. So like maybe the actual prizes of the rest of the cube is just not going to be worth that much. I could certainly see that happening. One thing to note, they said they're picking expensive versions of every single card. Very cool. It's super awesome event that they're putting on. I did not realize that, but yeah, that does change it. What if no one opens Lotus? So that's not going to be how it works. It's going to be Rochester draft. So every single card in the cube is just going to be on a table, and then you're going to snake draft all the cards. It's pretty good. Am I confusing Rochester and Rotisserie? I guess so. Rochester draft is 15 packs face up with a table that people draft one time. I see. I thought it was the same thing, but I guess not. Fnatic, Rumble, Not Dead, Mire. Yeah, I just didn't realize Rotisserie and Rochester were two different things. I mean, flipping the Tamiyo is not amazing here, but let's do it. Okay, so we can channel the Takenuma end of turn. Although if we hit an Emrakul, we have to put that into our hand, otherwise they can Voidwalker it. It's still a 540 cube, which means 360 cards drafted to 580, 540. Then there are a bunch of cards won't be drafted. Rare drafting is the only thing. Then it makes things easier, so you don't have to spreadsheet all of your every scenario, which is nice at least. Yeah, I'm not forgetting we can flip Rona. It just doesn't seem like a winning line. Or to like go for that next turn by playing the Takenuma over getting a frog back. There's a good chance I should just pop the Spellbomb to stop them from eternalizing also. So we milled a Fatal Push, unfortunately to lose the push, and then Goryo's and a Delta. Kind of interesting that they chose to ignore Tamiyo when it's going to ultimate kind of fast, right? I don't think I'm actually going to tap that right now. Just going to play the frog. And we can't draw a card off the Nihil Spellbomb because the Voidwalker is stopping the draw trigger. You brewed any Nightmare decks with Malevolent Rumble? Feels like there's some synergy there. There's definitely synergy there. I don't think I have had a list that has those two cards together. Rumble is really good. Good with Nightmare. Nightmare good. Probably something to look at. Like, I brewed this deck my opponent's playing, and we're playing Rumble and Persist and Shifting Woodland, which seemed like a pretty good formula. Where are they going to get Court? I actually have no idea what they're casting. Nihil Spellbomb? Fatal Push? I guess it's the Fatal Push. I'm not even sure what they're pushing. Rona is what they cast, so they're looking for a looter. Or they found a looter. Super duper interesting draw. So them getting Rona back is them saying that they have, like, their hand is like Persist Archon. And then, like, the problem with me just pushing the Rona against Persist Archon is that my opponent, this is 4 power, so that my opponent can just cast Archon next turn. They have 8 mana. So I think I need to push the Voidwalker. I guess I have no attacks, right? Wait, the push went to the yard? No, sorry. I, for whatever reason, was thinking the push wouldn't go to the yard. Oh, I also, sorry, I'm kind of playing kind of bad, but I could have also just put a card in my yard with Rona to jump the frog and draw a card. Yeah, but I thought the push would get exiled. I guess I always mix that part up, huh? At the very least, if they persisted Archon, I can ultimate Tamiyo and then Goryo's them. So we've got that going for us. Yeah, I always mix up the, like, Rest in Peace Abrupt Decay thing. So now they have Delirium, and this newly played Shifting Woodland can become a Dothi Voidwalker. But it'll have Summoning Sickness, so I think they might be punting here. Yeah, they're punting, I think. Unless I'm missing something. I said you first drafted Downpour Mage. No, I like the deck build for myself for new sets, but thank you for the thought. There's one slot available in 64 players, so it's 11 minutes. Yeah, I can't play it. I've got a dentist appointment in like 4 hours, but at some point. Okay, they had another Persist in their hand. And that's their Bauble, right? Okay, draw a bunch of cards. I have only 2 pushes left in the deck. Hopefully they're somewhere here. No push? Nope, there's a push. Okay. So I get to go Fatal Push the Dothi Voidwalker. Tap Rona, discard Emrakul. Goryo's the Emrakul. And then... So they do get to keep the... Archon as the last permanent. So I can have a frog playing defense, I suppose. Let me go ahead and just draw a card off this Basim. And then I can look for another Fatal Push to get it to where I can annihilate the Archon. I've definitely drawn too many cards to flip another Tamiyo right now. Do I have another Mox Amber? So let me go ahead and just tap this for black for Psychic Frog at the very least, because that's my plan to beat the Archon at the moment. I guess also, can I flip? Can I? Oh, there's Otawara. Okay, well that makes things easy. Do I have another fetchable? Fetchable blue. I guess I don't need blue. I can tap the amber for blue. So I'll just play the Tamiyo since it's free with the whole Otawara situation. Oh, it's not actually. I already had 3 legendary creatures. Forgot about the Emrakul. But yeah, this will get the job done. Game 3. Yeah, we could play Frog and Tamiyo, so like 2 blockers for the Archon. But we just have enough looks at another push or an Otawara to be digging there, I think. Ultimating is basically always a win the game button in this deck. Well, they don't have anything. Bowmasters is not very good against, or pretty good against the Rona or Tamiyo Ultimate. Push is pretty good against their Dothy Voidwalker, Nethergoyf, Tarmogoyf, Fanatic of Rona stack. Oh, sorry, no Tarmogoyf in that build. Or at least when I was playing it. We're using Scam Grief as our extra 4 power creature. Have you the zombie combo deck Mr. Sir has been playing Trophy 3 leagues in a row? I've seen it. We've been talking a good amount about War and Soul Trader combo versus like just non-combo tower. We played non-combo mono black yesterday. We were 7-1. We also trophied. It's not 3 trophies in a row, but it seems that both builds of the archetype are pretty viable, and I think it's interesting conversation. Which is better, but it does seem like you can play either build. All these legends, would you consider second Otawara? Yeah, you could consider it. There's kind of an issue of like supporting Break the Ice in the sideboard. If you're going to do that, but it's maybe okay. Twilight Mire, not that after all, Troll, Dothy Voidwalker. Yeah, supporting Break. You don't want to play too many blue sources because of all the Break the Ices on the board, but Otawara is very good in this deck. I agree. Okay, they choose Dothy Voidwalker, which I like since I have double push in my hand. Go Frog, go. Yeah, trophying 3 leagues in a row is very, very good. And definitely seems pretty viable. So my opponent Thoughtseizes themselves to Persistent Archon. Well, I guess I could try to surveil Emrakul into the yard off my Misty. Oh, painful draw. Right on time. Okay, so I guess what I should do is plan to discard Rona to Archon, Fatal Push their Dothy Voidwalker, and then I can Goryo's my Rona to discard Emrakul and look for another Goryo's. Or I could just draw a Psychic Frog. Or Thoughtseize. Oh, I could discard Emrakul and Goryo's at the block. I don't think that that's right, maybe, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't think it's right. Because like, what's my plan to win at that point? I don't know that I really have one. This line I have like a lot of outs to win. Okay, so we missed on Frog or Thoughtseize. And now we can find another Goryos. Oh no, if that was the top card. Okay, is what it is. Alright, so I don't know. 2-3 the first league. Let's do another one. I think his deck's looking promising. Do another one.